Very interesting topic. So let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you. Hi. Hello, everyone. This is so funny. It's a small crowd, but I can hear a lot of people from the other side of the hall. Hi, everyone from the other side of the hall. Okay, hi, my name is Suzanne, and I'm one of the co-founders for Picha Eats. If some of you have heard about Picha Eats, we are a social enterprise based in KL that works with refugees to run a food business. We've been around for the last 7 years, and this is our 8th year in operation. So today, I was invited to talk specifically on the topic of finding your purpose in your career and how can you make a change through your career. Okay, cool? Okay, this is very funny. Because I'm seeing you all, but I feel like more people are listening, but I cannot see them. Okay, I'll do my best. All right, so I'm going to share with you all not so much on how to find your purpose or like the 3 steps to find your purpose. It's not like that. But what I'm going to share today is more to share with you about my story, how did I get into this, and a story of our chef, and hopefully that inspires you to find your own purpose and write your own story. So as mentioned earlier, I've been working with the refugee community for the past 10 years, and how this all came about, it's all the way back from 2013. So a little bit of story time. When I was in university, which was 10 years ago, I actually did a degree in psychology. If any one of you here from, yes, the host. So I did a degree in psychology. My direction has always been to do a master's in clinical psychology and become a clinical psychologist. That was my path. And I was very sure about it. But what happened was, in between classes, I had some free time, which if we have gone through uni, we all know we have some free time, okay? We're not that busy. And I realized that 10 minutes away from my university, there is a refugee learning center with about 100 refugee kids who don't have teachers. So I visited the school, I realized they don't have teachers. The very limited number of teachers have to run around classes to teach different kids. And then after that, they just sit in their classroom and do homework. And when I noticed that, I started volunteering as a teacher in the school, teaching them English, maths, and science every Friday, and that's what I did. And after volunteering, me and my friends also got together to do fundraising concert to raise funds for the school. But what happened is in 2015, about half of my class dropped out because the kids all turned 14, 15, and they had to drop out to start working in places like mamak store, convenient market, and pasar malam because their family are all struggling financially. So that is when we look into the magnitude of the issue, and that's when we realized that around the world right now, in 2023, around the world right now, there is almost 89 million people who are forced to leave home due to war, persecution, and danger. If we are on social media in the last 2 years, which I believe we all are, we have seen the conflict in Afghanistan. I think many of us have seen videos on TikTok or Instagram of people clinging on to the outside of the plane trying to escape. We have seen the Ukrainian war. We have seen the earthquake in Syria and Turkey affecting so many people. And there are so many people who are forced to leave their home due to persecution and danger. 10 years ago, when we started doing this work, the number was 59 million. And 10 years later, it has increased to 89 million. It is a very shocking thing because we are in a world where everything's progressing. You know, we have ChatGPT, we have Tesla, people are going to the space. But at the same time, war is still happening. It doesn't really make sense, but this is the truth. And this is what is happening at the other side of the world. So if we zoom in to Malaysia, in Malaysia alone, we have about 180,000 refugees who are registered. But unfortunately, because Malaysia did not sign the UN Refugee Convention, refugees in Malaysia, imagine, they run away from war from Gaza, Syria, Afghanistan, come to Malaysia, hope to seek for safety, but here they are not allowed to work legally. Kids cannot go to public school, and healthcare is a struggle because they cannot work. So again, imagine this. You are in a country where there's war. You run away to another country, and the country say, sorry, you cannot do anything here. You are actually not even allowed to be here. And then they will say, go somewhere else. But where is somewhere else? There is no somewhere else. So this is the situation here in Malaysia, and a lot of them, how they survive is they do odd jobs. They work in restaurant, they work in mamak, they do construction work, and that's how they get by. And if they go out on the road, they stand a risk of getting arrested by immigration officer. And if you ask, ayo, so dangerous here in Malaysia, why you come? You might ask that. We ask them as well, why come to Malaysia? Their question back to us is, where else to go? Right? Where else to go? And they also say, at least here in Malaysia, the worst that can happen is they get arrested. But back home, if they step out of their house, they might get shot. They might get hit by an explosion in the middle of their sleep. At least in Malaysia, in their words, the worst that can happen is getting arrested. They won't get killed. And this is very real situation. And if you think, oh, refugee is very far from us. No, they are in Pudu, they are in Ampang, they are in Cheras, they are in Batu Caves. They are here among us trying to get by. You have a question? Okay. Oh, hi. I see. Hi. Mahaba. Okay, so they are around us, and a lot of them are highly educated. A lot of them deserve a job. Okay? So that's the situation here in Malaysia. And when we found out about the situation, we told ourselves, we asked ourselves, what can we do? And at that time, in 2016, me and my co-founders, we were all university students. We were doing our final year research, and we told ourselves, we have no money, so what do? So we had this idea where our friends in university have to eat every day, and a lot of our students' mom can cook. So why not we get our students' mom to cook, and then we sell it to our friends? So if you want to start your business, sales tips 101 is you force your friends to buy. So we went to uni, we told our friends, hey, give me money, next week I give you food. That's how we made our first sales. We forced our friends to buy, and that's how we got our first sales. And this went on for 4 months. So the whole first 4 months of 2016, we were selling food to our own friends in university. And then we graduated. That's where we had to ask ourselves, do we run this full-time or do we get a full-time job? And this project will die off definitely because it requires so much attention to run F&B. You cannot do it part-time. We decided to take a shot and run it full-time, and it's been 7 years ever since. We are really glad that we took that step, and we are really glad that we are still able to do this full-time until now in our 8th year. So that's how, oh, thank you. Yeah, so that's how it started. So if any of you are still in university, like what you do in university can pave ways to what you do in the future. So whatever you are passionate about, whatever you are doing now, it can bring you somewhere, all right? So if you're wondering what does Picha means, it's actually the name of this boy that I'm hugging here. His name is Picha, and he's the son of our first chef. We initially were named the Picha Project as a constant reminder to ourselves that we started the business for the family, and we want to continue to grow for the family. Eventually, too many people asked us, when is your project ending? Then we're like, oh, it's not ending, it's full-time. So we rebranded to Picha Eats. But one funny joke is we later found out that his name is Peter, not Picha. It's just that every time we hear his name, the mom is shouting at him. Either he is like, kachawing something. So we always hear, Picha, Picha. It's actually Peter. But it's a good mistake because, like, honestly, the Peter Eats sounds really good. It's really weird, not good. So Peter Eats would sound really weird, so Picha Eats it is. So that's how we started, and right now what we do full-time is we run a food business. If you look from the outside, we run a food business. We do delivery, we do catering, but all the chefs behind are chefs who are from the refugee community. So we do 3 main things right now. The first is catering and delivery for homes, events, corporates. I just walked around here, I saw a few of our clients. They don't know me, but I know them. Because we have served some of the brands here. So we do buffet catering, we do meal boxes. I think we are serving the crew here lunch tomorrow, green curry chicken. Yeah. And then we also deliver to homes like Buka Puasa, Raya Party, and so on. We also do giftings. So during Deepavali, Raya, and so on, we do gifts. We have like kunafa for Raya, and then we have like chips for Deepavali. I saw Darif. They are one of our big gifting client as well. Darif. Okay, yeah, hi. So we also do gifting. We also do frozen food. This came out during the pandemic because all our catering business died during the pandemic. So we came out with a frozen food. It's called Ding. because of microwave ding by Pizza Eats. So this is what we are currently doing as well. So these are the 3 key focus. But again, from the outside, we are a food business. But from the inside, what really drives us and what is the core of the business are the chefs behind, who are all refugees from Syria, Palestine, Afghanistan, Iraq, and also Pakistan. So currently, we have 15 active kitchen, and for some kitchen, they actually work as a couple. So both husband and wife are chefs in the kitchen, and Pizza is their main source of income. So this is Chef Dalia from Palestine. She makes really good mandi rice. Really, really good. If you don't know what it is, you should try it out, okay? These 2 are the same people, Aida and Nishrin. They are a mother and daughter duo. They have been with us for about 5 years as well. This is Salam and Maliha from Pakistan. They are also a husband and wife duo. Maliha just gave birth to a baby boy today, so we are going to celebrate with them very soon. So those are some of the chefs behind the business and really, really the core of the business. And if you ask us, oh, why F&B? Honestly, if it's not for the chef, I don't want to run F&B. It's really tough. I don't even want to run a business. But they are the people who push us to do what we do, and it's honestly completely worth it. So since 2016 to 2022, we have given about 4.2 million back to the chefs to earn as an income. We have worked with about 40 chefs. A lot of them have resettled to Melbourne, Netherlands, or went back to their country because things improved. But right now, active kitchen, we have 15. 100% of our kids of schooling age are in school. If they can't afford to send their kids to school, we will try to figure something out with them. If they earn enough to send their kids to school, but they don't, they are out. Like, it's our clause that your kids must go to school. Because if you remember, we started from school. And we started the business so that kids can stay in school. So if they don't send their kids to school, we won't take them in. And then so far we have served about 800, actually about 1,000 corporate clients. And we are really, really happy about that is because so many corporates want to support the refugee cause, but they can't in their CSR. Because CSR, most of it is governed and you have to give it back to local community. But now you don't have to support refugees, you just buy food from us. Like we are their vendor for food. They just order from us, the whole spread is cooked by them, and that's how they give back through the food, which is already budget that they have. So the whole idea behind this is that we try to fit the business into procurement that you memang need to spend. You know, like giftings, food, you already have budget for it, but now your budget can do good as well. And that's how we are penetrating into the corporate side. If you want to read more, we have our impact report, the latest one for 2022 on our website. Inside is very detailed of what we do, what our chef feedbacks are, how much they earn, how is our financial distribution. We are very transparent in that because we want to hold ourselves accountable for the cause that we believe in, and you can read more there. So, if you have been here for my first 15 minutes of the presentation, that's what Pizza Eats is about. If you listen to it, it's a very straightforward business. It's a F&B business. We work with the chef. It's not rocket science, but it helps them earn an income. And I think throughout this journey, we really learned that sometimes the impactful ideas are simple. Like, a lot of times we stop ourselves from doing something impactful because we're like, I'm not that smart. Or like, I don't have good ideas. But you don't need very good ideas. You just need to stay true and push through it, okay? So that's what we do. And as I mentioned, what's most important is really why we do what we do. And this is why I want to share with you a story of our chef. This is a story that we have been sharing since 2017. So if you have heard my talk before, you would have heard it many times. But it's a story so important that we want to keep telling every single time because it really, really inspires us, and I hope that it inspires all of you as well. So this chef right here, his name is Zaza. And then this is his wife, Rania, and the son, Time. This picture was taken in 2016. Time is now 11. He's about this tall. And the story about them is Zaza, before the Syrian war started, Zaza is actually a professional chef in Saudi Arabia in a hotel for 14 years. So good job, stable income, good life. But when the war started, his wife and his son are stuck in Syria in a place called Raqqa. They were from Raqqa, which was the HQ for ISIS for many years. And when that happened, it was really, really tough. And he tried to bring them over to Saudi, but they couldn't get visa. So all of them left and came to Malaysia and became refugees. And for the first few years, things were a bit tough. And when we started PICHA, UNHCR, United Nations, actually told us, you need to meet this family. They cook really well. And that's how we got in touch with Zaza and his family. So when we started working together, we love working with them so much because first, he is a great chef. Secondly, he is also a great friend. He is someone who is so genuine in the way he treats us, and he would tell us things like, when the war stops in Syria, you come back with me. Like, I need to show you Syria. I need to show you how great is the place. And he also shown us really, really great hospitality. He would always, make food for us, make food for the runners, make food for the cleaner. He's just generally an extremely kind-hearted person. And during winter in Syria, he would also gather clothes here in KL and send it back. And when there's new refugee arriving, he would also host them, train them how to cook so that they can also work with PICHA. So he's someone like that. But unfortunately, in 2017, Zaza fell very sick out of a sudden. At first, the doctor said that it was anemia. And we went for treatment, it didn't work. In the end, he actually got admitted into the hospital. And a few days later, the doctor said he suspected to have blood cancer. So that came very, very suddenly. And in this whole situation, we also experienced the struggle with healthcare in Malaysia for refugees. Because when he was really struggling to breathe, they sent him to the emergency ward, ER, but they won't let him in. So at 11 p.m., I got a call from his family and say, can you come to the hospital now? Because they won't let him in until a local sign off as a guarantor. So I rushed to the hospital, I signed off. So this is the ER door, right? There's a roundabout in front where ambulance kind of like do their turns. He's sitting at the roundabout. He couldn't breathe. They just won't let him in. After I signed, they took him in. He went straight into red critical zone, which made me think really, if they don't have local friends, what happened? Like for the many, many refugees who don't have a local person to call, what happened to them? I really don't know. And it's something that we still don't have a solution now, unfortunately. But for whoever we can help, we try our best to help. So he was told, we were told that he has blood cancer. Eventually, they say it's bone cancer. But before we even got a proper diagnosis, he unfortunately passed away within 3 months due to infection in the hospital. And we lost him on the 8th of May in 2017. It all happened very, very suddenly. And it was a very painful incident that happened to everyone in PICHA. We all grieved together. We tried our best to support the family. And it was very painful, and it also made a lot of us think, do we still want to continue doing this? Because suddenly, you open up your life to 15 more families. And now whatever happens to the 15 more families, it will hurt you, it will break you. So do we want to do this? It was a painful time where we questioned a lot of decisions. But I think what really pushed us through, and is still pushing us through until today, is that 2 weeks before he passed away, 2 weeks before Zaza passed away, the doctor actually said he's recovering and he can be discharged in 2 weeks. So we are like, oh yay, so happy, right? So we visited him in the hospital. I think you can read the paper, right? We visited him in the hospital and he told us, Ramadan is coming, you better have your Ramadan menu. And then he wrote down the menu. I don't read Arabic, but he wrote it down for me to get it translated. But if I'm not wrong, it says like biryani, kunafa, is it? Yeah, so it says, okay, you need to have like biryani for the first dish, and then you need to have this chicken, and then for dessert, you should put in like kunafa, baklava, things like that. In my head, right, I was thinking, you see, in the hospital, this is him in his hospital gown. I was thinking like, bro, you are sick. Can you just chill and rest? Don't worry about us. But he went on and on. He's like, make sure you have your menu. And not just that, he also told us, Ramadan is going to come soon. Please make sure that he told us that he wanted to cook chicken mandi and give it out for free at the mosque after the prayers. And he said specifically that he wants to do this under PICHA's name, not his name, because that's how he wanted to give back for the support that we have given him throughout the hospitalization. And again, in my head, I'm like, okay, sure. But in my head, right, I'm like, can you rest? Can you stop thinking about other people? Because the truth is, For someone like Zaza, if you remember what I mentioned about his story, he was doing so well in Saudi, and then the war happened, which he had zero control over. He came to Malaysia again with his rights taken away, and then his life started improving. Things were going well for him, and then you get cancer. Like seriously, if I am him, I'll be like, God, did you mistakenly put all the challenges on one same person? Like, he has all the rights to be bitter. He has all the rights to be angry. He has all the rights to, shut the world out. But he is still thinking about others on the hospital bed, which I think it's something that if someone like Zaza can have such a big heart, I really think that myself and all of us here who has so much in life, we can really start thinking what can we do to also touch the life of others. So as I mentioned, Zaza passed away in May. But after he passed away, in remembrance of him, we started the Zaza movement, which is a movement where we send out food to people in need in his name. He didn't want his name, but he didn't have a say. So the Zaza movement, we started it after him, right? That is in 2017. And then fast forward 2020, the pandemic hit. When the pandemic hit, remember I mentioned we do catering? So before the pandemic, our catering was 80% of our income for all our chefs, 80%. And you remember the lockdown announcement was made in 2 days. Like today announced, in 2 days it was the lockdown. So imagine 15 families, our bread and butter, we lost all our sales in 2 days. Everything was cancelled. We were all panicking until the hospital called and say, can you supply us food for the doctors? Because doctors have no time to get in and out of their PPE to eat. And we, thankfully, have some funds in the Zaza movement. And we are like, sure, we can sponsor. So we pay our chef with the funds to cook for the hospital. Then our chef gets sales. And then the hospital called, can we have more? And then another hospital called, can we have food too? Then another PPR called, can we have food too? So we started rallying people and all our corporate contacts to put in money into the Zaza movement so that our chef get to earn through cooking and the community get food because they really need food. And in that 3 months, when the lockdown was announced, we had enough Zaza movement to last all our chefs for like 4 months of income. Because every day we were cooking hundreds of meals. And I remember when this was going on, my co-founder Kim jokingly told me, oh my gosh, like 4 years later, 3 years later, Zaza is still saving our ass. Because when he was around, he is always our SOS line. Because we were new, right? New and like we were terrible in operation. So sometimes we miss our order, we will call Zaza. Can you cook 40 packs of biryani now? Then he'll be like, okay, sure. So he always saved us. And we joke how now, in 2020, 18, 19, 20, 3 years after his passing, he's still saving our ass. And because of the Zaza movement, as I mentioned, 15 families got to have income for about 4 months. And it gave us a buffer time to pivot and turn around the business in order to make sure the chef get to have an income. And in total, we gave out about 35,000 meals in that few months. And that really, really helped us pull through the first few months of the pandemic. So what we really learned from here, in that span of 3.5 years, right, is that when you have the intention to do good, you won't know the ripple effect until it happens. Because I don't think Zaza would know his small intention of giving food during Ramadan can ripple down to a pandemic, which will help 15 families have stable income for so many months. And I think that is really, really a very powerful lesson that we learned. And on top of that, another thing that we learned from this incident was that a week after Zaza passed away, we went to his house to see the wife and the son. And as I mentioned, when the pain was so high, we asked ourselves, do we still want to do this? Like, is it worth it? Like, why put ourselves into all this when, we can work some other job, right? But when we visited the wife, Rania, one thing that she said really pushed me to keep going through this, even many years later in difficult situation, is that we asked her, are you okay? And then she told us that knowing that Picha is around, I know that Zaza won't be worried about me because you guys are around. And I think that answer made me realize that we intended for this to be a food business. We intended for this to be a source of income for the families. But what we did not realize is that we have become a source of support for them in Malaysia when they don't have a lot of people. And it really reinforces us that what we do is important and we have to keep doing no matter how hard is it. And if you are inside the team, you know how hard it is. It is very hard. It's a food business plus catering plus the community that we work with. This week we had 2 new interns. And yesterday, the intern asked one of my full-timer, "You do this every day?" She's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Okay." It's not easy. And whatever we have now, we really credit it to the team who worked so hard to make things happen, who worked so hard for the community. And I think we really want to keep growing this so that not just the chef get an income, but our full-time team who wants to put in their effort to make an impact can do so in a sustainable way where they can also get a good salary to support themselves. So this is Taim, this is Rania and Taim, the family of Zaza. He just turned 11 last year. He knows we love him, so he now very smart. He say things like, "You love me, right? I want to go ice skating." We're like, "Okay, fine." So we brought him for ice skating for his birthday last year. We celebrated with him, and it is a joy to see him grow, and it is a joy to do life together with him. This was him and me and my co-founder Kim in one of our full-timers' wedding. So he kind of has a crush on that full-timer, so he was really upset throughout the wedding. And then he kept asking, "When's the next wedding? When's the next wedding?" Because he really enjoyed all the free food. But it's really a business where it comes with a lot of challenges, but it also comes with a lot of joy for the people that we work with the people that we work with as well. So from this whole story, and today my topic is, how can we have a purposeful career, right? And I think from what we learned from Zaza, from our journey, and even from our full-time team, is that we believe in this question to ask ourselves and all of us here, is how can you be you and make a change? Because the truth is there is so many issues around the world. It's not possible to solve everything. And a lot of times we have the heart to do something good, but the problem is too huge. And we will feel like, oh, in order to do good, I need to be like Mother Teresa, or I need to be like Nelson Mandela. I'm not like that, so never mind, I just do my work. Or even today, maybe you will think, oh, I need to do full-time like Suzanne. Maybe not. So I'm here to tell you, you don't have to. Because we need people in the corporate, we need people in hired leave, we need people in the whole ecosystem so that we support each other. So the question is, how can you be you and make a change? If you are an influencer on TikTok, how can you do that to make a change? If you are hired leave, how can you be hired leave and make a change? Like, to have me here today, I'm really grateful. Highly also offered and asked if I want to have a booth, but I don't have manpower. So we said we can't this time. But there is so many things you can do in your position, in your role, in your strength that can make a change. And if everyone have this mindset and we all make a change in our small ways, collectively, it will be great. And we are, like for Picha, we are built by so many people in their company who believe they can make a change through their event. For example, we catered for Google in 2019 before the pandemic. It was 600 packs. It was Google. It was huge. We were so excited and nervous at the same time. And you know why we got Google? It's because this full-timer inside know about Picha as a uni student, and he waited until he has a say for an event, and he just fought for Picha. Like, we must cater for Picha. And that's how we got the Google sales. And a lot more. There are so many companies who have champions inside who champions for what we do, and then it helps us make a change. So again, my question for all of you today is, how can you be you and make a change? Whether you are in logistics, whether you are an intern, whether you are looking for a job, whether you are an accountant, whatever it is, how can you in your position make a change, and collectively we can make a big change together. So again, my topic is how to build a purposeful career. I don't have steps 1, 2, 3 because I don't know you, I don't know your story, I don't know your strength, but you know who you are. And it's for us to all reflect and think, how can I be in my position and make a change and make my role purposeful? And for those who don't have time to make a change, we make it easy for you, you eat. So we always tell the corporates, you don't have CSR fund, right? It's okay, you just eat. You know, you have events, you need food, order from us, you just eat. Like, really, you just eat and the change happens, because the people who cook your food get to earn a direct income from your order. And that's what we do. So that's all from me. I really hope that this helps you think a little bit more about how you can make an impact in your position. And Thank you so much for having me. If you are looking for internship, we are hiring, so do let me know. But a heads up, it is not easy. It is a food business. It gets physically tiring as well, because sometimes we need to wash trays. Even myself, sometimes we need to carry rice. It's not easy, but it is definitely worth it. So thank you very much. Do keep in touch. And that's all from me. Thank you. Okay, my email down there if you need anything.
All right.
Okay, do I need
I'm sorry.
All right. Thank you so much, Suzanne. Thank you for the touching story from Picha, from Zaza. I remember. So, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them an email, and also that's the user tag as well. All right. So that's it for our 4 p.m. speaker. Our 5 p.m. speaker is gonna be a big one. So do remember, 5 p.m. is the time. Remember to come back here, and I'll see you guys here. All right. Thank you.